Hello, everybody. Stephen Mead here with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. This is our Southern California housing market update for first-time buyers and entry-level buyers. So absolutely, everybody, welcome. Want to go over a couple things. We actually have some good news for you. You know, I'm a big fan of being able to deliver good news to you. This has been kind of, this has been kind of a bit of a crazy summer, really. It hasn't been a summer that's worked quite as well as we've wanted. So without any kind of further ado, what we're going to do here is go over our weekly stats and kind of go over the good news numbers. I think if you're a first-time home buyer, this is kind of one of the better time periods we've had versus a few weeks, or actually pretty much for most of this year. So let's jump in. I see the stream's a little bit jerky, so I'm a little bit worried we might be having some kind of technical stuff going on, but I'm going to launch into the screen share here and see if that clears some of it up for us. Again, I'm not sure why we're seeing kind of some real super slowness on my machine here, and I'm hoping that's not coming through as well on your end. So we'll just have to see if that's what's happening or not. If it is, we're gonna have to re-record this for our YouTube channel. And you know what? For whatever reason, we're also not getting the video stuff coming up right. Not sure why that is not happening like it is supposed to. So let's go here to let's see. Gosh, it's not very often that we actually have technical issues like this, but yeah, it is completely kind of not being very happy here. Let's see here. There we go. Now we got some slides up, right? Who can see the slides? We're super happy about that. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, let's talk about pricing. I know last week we had kind of a blip in the data, and I said that I thought it was a blip. So I'm going to talk about that first, and that is our entry-level condo market, which is down here in our 2-bed, 2-bath. We saw us go from a $545 price point down to a $460. Well, guess what? It's rebounded $30,000. So, if you look here on the chart, this new number is not completely out of line. We actually had a 457 back about 2 months ago. So we do kind of see some blips in the data like this from time to time. And one of the things that I always tell people about this data, and again, just as a reminder, this is what's called first quartile data. And what that means is a median would be the 50%. So this is halfway between the bottom and the median. And the reason why we use that first quartile number is because that number is a very good approximation of the entry level end of the market. So if you're looking here, our entry level condo is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I think this data is great for spotting longer term trends. In fact, we might add a trend line to this data. I don't know if it'll make the graph a little too complicated or not, but we might add some trend line to this data. Because what you're really looking for is this trend over time. And you see we had a really big spring, and then it's kind of, for both of these, you can see that there's been a little bit of leveling out. More so up here in our entry-level single-family home. If you look, our single-family home did retreat roughly $11,000. Again, this is a pretty minor variance. We see these week-to-week variances here. You see we had a big rise and then kind of leveling out over the last couple months with kind of more limited rising in that data. So that's our price point. If we go here to our income, we have a real strong, or go here to our payment, we have a real strong interest rate market, which really is keeping these payments low. And this is our total monthly payment for that entry-level home based on 5% down, including mortgage insurance, taxes, an HOA fee in the case of our condo. We really wanted to give a good idea of what do these homes look like for entry-level buyers. You see for our single-family home in that $720 price point, $4,021. Down here for our Condo buyer, we're at $3,005 is our estimated number for that. Again, these are estimates; they're not meant to be perfect, but it's to just kind of give you an idea of the range. So if you're the kind of person out there who is sitting there paying rent, obviously it's helpful to kind of see these numbers. Okay. So minimum household income required. I just did this for fun based on debt ratios. If you had no other monthly debts, you basically need about 100 grand to be an entry-level single family home buyer, and you need around 73,000 to be an entry-level condo buyer. This is household income, not necessarily individual buyer income. So for example, two people making $50,000 each with no other debt would be able to qualify for that entry-level single family home. I actually think personally that's pretty encouraging. Obviously, minimum wage is not going to result in you being able to afford to buy a home, but I think there's a lot of jobs and there's a lot of people who can afford to buy a home but are not doing that. Okay, so before we get into this, I just want to give a little bit of a preface again about kind of some of this good news that's coming, and to maybe give you the right set of expectations. This is still a very competitive market. I know I say this every time, but I don't want to see people going out there saying, well, Steven said that the market is completely, easier for first-time home buyers. Now, why aren't my offers getting accepted? Well, it's still a very competitive market, but it's a less competitive market than it was, and you have more choice. So let's go into that, and I'm going to say exactly what that means in terms of our statistics. Okay, so the first thing here is our absorption rate. And if you look here, our common metric has been between 70 and 80 is a definite seller's market. Between 80 and 90 is a super strong seller's market. Anything over 90% is circus town. Well, look at where we are. We're at a 78% for entry-level condos. That means it's competitive, but not unreasonably so. And we're at 86% for our entry-level single families. Yes, that's still a very competitive market, not as competitive as it's been. And if you look at this trend line again, you see that the market has steadily gotten less competitive as we've gone through the spring, right? It might not have been as fast as we've wanted, and there are definitely weeks of more competition. But if you look at the trend line here, I think the trend line is encouraging for buyers. I do think we're in a housing shortage, which means I don't think we're going to get to a level of being in a seller's or a buyer's market anytime soon. But I think kind of the circus level buying is going to get a little bit easier. So let's see here, our next slide. And I'm not sure why I'm having kind of all these computer issues here. There we go. So total inventory. And again, this is more encouraging news, right? If you're a first-time home buyer or an entry-level buyer, inventory is a good thing. This means you have choice. This means that instead of 10 buyers fighting over one listing, now it's 10 buyers who might be fighting over 2 listings, which is still competitive, but only half as competitive. And really, when you look at this entry-level single-family home, look at where we were in inventory back here in February, and look at where we are now. We've even shot up a little bit from that plateau, and we've kind of seen that this entry-level condo has risen a little bit more steadily. We're still not at the level we were at the beginning of the year. This has been a lot more sluggish than our single-family homes, but it's encouraging news, right? I mean, you take the wins where you can get them. Let's see, we'll go on to our next slide here. Okay, our 14-day still active percentage. This is, again, another metric of market competition, except in this case, higher means a less competitive market. And again, look at this. We see a trough down here. It's been accelerating. There's been ups and downs, but I think the general trend line is that the market has been getting less competitive. I'm not going to harp on that point too many times. And then finally, let's talk about our weak supply of homes. Our basic inventory, all that does is tell us the absolute number of houses you have to pick, but this references inventory to sort of the run rate. How fast are homes going in escrow? And look at this, we've got 3.68 weeks of inventory on single family homes. That is still very low, but it's quite a bit more than we had earlier this year. And it's really in line with where we were in the fall. The September, October, November numbers in the 3.7s, we're not very far off from that at all for our entry-level single-family homes. Over here for our condos, we have not recovered to nearly the level of the last fall. We're at about 5.5 weeks, so there's definitely more inventory than there is for single family homes, but it has not gone back to last fall levels. As I've said on a couple occasions, I think what we experienced last year with condos was just a general dislike of condos. I think with COVID, people were just really down on the condo property type. I think that that is largely reversed or been eliminated. I think people are now looking back to condos again. There's not a stigma attached to them. And that's why we're seeing these kind of lower inventory rates that are still better than our single family home inventory, but not a multiple like we saw last year. Okay, I'm gonna go off screen share here. I really hope this video cleared up. We're gonna have to check on that. I might be recording this video twice. I also want to tell you if you love architecture, I really have three passions in real estate, and anybody who's interacted with me on a personal level probably already knows this. But my three passions in real estate are: number one, making real estate accessible to people. I think homeownership is a great thing. It's probably my number one goal in real estate is how do I help more people become homeowners, because I believe in it that strongly. But my second love in real estate is architecture. Since a kid, I used to draw floor plans out on pieces of paper. I'm not making this up. I think my parents thought for sure I was going to be an architect. And we've started a new video series called Window Shopping, where we just kind of take a look at some of the really cool architectural homes that are for sale here in Southern California. Also, we are launching an email list where we include that window shopping video, as well as kind of some commentary on another home that's for sale, usually something more affordable. And then also, we kind of have some quick tips and kind of some fun, like, did you know facts and things like that. So if you want to sign up for that, definitely. We're putting together kind of a landing page to do that. So I'll probably plug that next week too. As always, if you are a first-time entry-level home buyer, especially if you're an entry-level home buyer who loves architecture, really, we should chat. Definitely reach out to us via the comments, or you can go to our webpage or any other means. We'd love to hear from you. And we also love to hear the comments. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That really helps us out a lot. It gets our videos shown to more people. If you think this is useful information, obviously you want more people to be helped by that. And we will see you again next week, everybody. Thanks so much.